Welcome back to Melanin's World Tea Time with Lala.
And Vita. Hey, bestie boos.
Start with a flicker and soon you will light the way. Today we're going to start off with a quote that we got from one of our loyal viewers. And she asks, how do you feel about friends who don't reciprocate the level of friendship, care, sacrifices you give them? Now that's a very deep question. And immediately I have two thought processes. And my first thought process is that not everybody shows love and care the same way. Some people, and we know this because there's this whole thing out there about love languages, right?
Yes.
So some people are doers. Some people show their love through acts of service.
Yes.
And some people are givers. They show their love through buying gifts. Some people show their love through being there to support you, talking on the phone, texting all day long. So
Yes.
people show their love and support in different ways.
Quality time.
Quality time.
Touch.
Is another one. Touch. All of those things.
Mine's is touch.
Is yours your
Mine's
touch?
is touch and quality
Yes.
time.
Yes. I think mine's is, and I don't think, I know for sure, mine's is acts of service. I find myself always wanting to do something for the people that I love and care about. But that's a very slippery slope because one person, say, take a person whose love language is gifts. A person who's constantly spending money and giving gifts could easily feel unappreciated
Right.
if the other person is only sending text messages all day. Their love language is communication. So I'm constantly buying you gifts for no reason at all, just because I saw this. Oh, I thought I would like this, so I got you one too. So I'm constantly going in my pocket for you.
Right.
But all you can do, and not to say that way, but it could feel as all you can do is send me text messages and talk to me on the phone. It could feel very uneven. So I think we got to be careful when we're measuring people on those things. But it is also important to measure it because the amount that you put out, the amount of energy that you put out in any form should be reciprocated to you
Absolutely.
in the same level.
Absolutely.
Think of it this way, and I've heard you say this, Vita, a million times. You can't keep pouring into somebody's cup and nobody's filling your cup back up.
Yes.
When you get that feeling of emptiness, that can lead you down a whole nother road that can just lead to a lot of detrimental other things.
Yes.
So you have to make sure you're getting those things back. And I also think it's important to communicate these things to your friends and say, for example, let's take the friend who is always loaning you money. And friends can get very dependent on that unintentionally. So I know Vita, Vita and I, we go way back. And I know if we want to go out and have drinks, but I don't have no money. I know Vita got me. I'm called Vita, can we get some drinks? Sure, I know Vita got me. I don't have no gas money this week to get back and forth to work. Let me call Vita. I know Vita got me. That can be taxing on Vita.
Yes.
After a while.
Yes.
And even though she loves me and she wants to do for me as much as she can, that can be draining. So we have to be careful how we're treating our friends and remember, even though she got it, we don't want to keep draining her.
Right.
We need to show her that we love her and appreciate her and that her efforts are extremely valued and reciprocated.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What do you think?
That's you make a great point because friendships, ships in any capacity, you never want it to be one-sided. Communication is huge. So you always want to be communicatory is not a word, it's a Vitaism. You always want to be communicatory so that all points are heard, all sides are heard. And once again, and I use this statement in a lot, if you listen to the whispers, nobody has to yell.
Yeah.
So if I'm listening to you and we're communicating in whatever the ship is, romantic, platonic, professional, childhood, whatever that friendship is, if y'all are constantly literally in some type of communication, you can hear the whispers and say, oh, I heard you, friend.
Right.
I appreciate you.
Right.
And then that also goes back to, I think something I said last week, where I said there's a difference between an apology and forgiveness.
Yes.
So you make the apology may be sincere, like, oh, you know what, Vita, or you know what, La, I'm really sorry that, you know, I've continued to blah 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 blah. That's, the apology was very sincere, but were you really asking for forgiveness?
Right.
Like, you know what, La, I apologize.
Right.
What can I do to fix this?
Right.
Somebody has to do the work. So once you put it in where you're doing the work, now it's not a lopsided friendship anymore. So then that goes into, you know, the second part of her question is, how do you feel about friendships that end because something happened and you're just bound to fall out? So that goes back to what you were saying. A lot of friends fall out over money. I'm not a person that'll fall out over money. Guess what I do? I just stop lending you money. You burn me first time, shame on me. Second time, shame on you. You BS a baker, you might get a bun. You BS me, you get nothing else from me. So, you know, you get a 2 jack up minimum with me. And then, you know, within that, I still learn the first time you do it, oh, well, can I borrow $50? You said the keyword borrow. I might not say nothing the first time, but the second time, now you say, hey, can I borrow $100? And then in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, you borrowed 50, you didn't give me that back. Now you doubled it. Now you know what you're doing. So I'm going to say, well, I can't let you borrow this $100 until you pay me back the 50 that you borrowed from me 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Oh my God, well, I really need it. Okay, well, I really need my $50 back that you said you was going to give me. So unfortunately, go find you another duck.
Right.
Because this one quacked up the river.
Right.
So, I mean, and it's not even that deep, you know, to where it's money. It could be anything.
Right.
It could be anything. If you feel like you're being used for anything, like, and whatever that looks like, how you feel, whatever that thing is, and you feel like you're being used, you need to speak on it the first time. Because if you don't speak on it the first time, the whisper now becomes a yell.
Exactly.
The second and the third time.
Exactly.
So once you speak on it, like, hey, La, can I borrow the $50 from you? You say, yeah, Vita. When are you going to pay me back? Okay, you going to pay me back on Friday? Cool. So now on Friday, when you on my phone, I can't be like, well, Dad, why you on my phone? Because you said you was going to pay me back on Friday.
Right.
Now, Friday, when you call me, if I'm ducking your calls, now that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because if I communicate with you and say, hey, La, I don't have it today, but I will have it first thing in the morning. It's communication.
Right. Right.
So it doesn't even have to, it could be anything. I mean, you know, women in our big ages, we still borrow each other clothes. Girl, you got that pocketbook? Let me hold that pocketbook. Oh, you got that whatever. Can I hold that? Yeah. And that might not be the tip of, when you giving me back my jacket?
Right.
It's not, that's not so much, oh, you want to borrow it for tomorrow? Oh, okay. Well, that was next Tuesday.
And I haven't seen my jacket.
And I haven't seen my jacket. That was 6 months later. And you give me the jacket back and it's got a rip in it, or the lining is tore, or something's wrong with it. So now I'm like, what you do? Rumble with a lion with this jacket on? Like, what you do? So now I want to hold the jacket. So that becomes a issue of taking care of my things. So if now I see that my things mean nothing to you. So in trust, you're not getting the thing again.
Right.
So you done lost out with the money.
Right.
You lost out with the things. But I was still communicatory, which is not a word, it's a Vitaism. And I say Vitaism. You still were communicatory about your boundaries of your whatever it is, because it still belongs to you.
Right. So
that's very important. You know, you always want to communicate your boundaries.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah. And great point. And sorry for the Misty Softy truck outside. But 2 things that I want to piggyback on right here is, yes, communication is key, and you should tell people because I think a lot of times as melanated people, we think that people think the way we would. So, for example, if I was to borrow $50 from Vita, I know that I'm going to pay her back when I said I was going to pay her back. I'm not going to say I'm going to pay you back on a day that I don't know if I'm going to have it or not. And things change all the time. So I'm going to be communicative with her about that and say, look, I know I said I was going to get this back to you on Friday, but X happened and now, I can't do it. But I'm going to stay in constant communication. But at the same time, you need to let the people know, look, I haven't forgot that this, and I don't want to harp on the money thing, but you need to let people know how you're feeling and what you expect. You need to set your boundaries and your expectations. You asked me for X, you told me this is when you're going to give it back, and this is what I expect. And that's not being a bad friend. That's actually being a good friend, because you're setting clear expectations and boundaries. And at the same time, because we are human, and humans sometimes hurt each other without intention, the person who did the harming needs to take the steps to correct them. And apology without action means nothing. So if you did something wrong to a friend and apologize for it, but you keep doing that thing to that friend, you're the problem.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
You're the problem.
Yes.
And to the other friend who is the victim in this circumstance, that's when you have to set clear boundaries for yourself and say, I'm not going to allow somebody to continue to harm me.
Yes.
I saw a friend of mine, I think it was this one sitting over here, posted something the other day that said, God will continue. If you have a person in your life that God doesn't want in your life, and you continue to keep that person in your life, God will allow that person to continue to hurt you
until you learn the lesson
and let them go. So, you've heard people say things like, why God let this happen? Why God let that happen? Maybe he's been trying to teach you something all along, and you're not getting the lesson.
You weren't listening.
So that happens sometimes.
And you know what? Also, with that, sometimes everybody is not supposed to go to the next level with you.
Right.
And there should be a level of maturity within your friendship group. Let me say that, because when it's just, most of the time it's not just, it could be just you and another person, but I believe that there's always a gang of friends.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's 2, 3, 4, y'all a triple or a thruple or a quad or whatever that may be, there's always something. And you have to hold each other accountable. And when I can't hold you accountable, what does that say?
Yeah.
What does that say? Because if I constantly got your back and I constantly ride for you, but when it's time for you to ride for me, it's like, well, Dad, really? Oh, well, come on, lie. Let's go to eat. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. And then you never say, well, Vita, hey, let's go to the mall and just go people watch.
Right.
You never offer anything.
Right.
Once again, it's one-sided.
Right. Right.
And vice versa. If that was you all the time,
right.
that it's one-sided.
Yes.
So, there's different means to that. And I say this, and I think it's different strokes with different folks, but I definitely can say this because I'm a Gen Xer. And back in the day when gas was 89 cents, and we was going to Cornucopia, we was going to Bahama Bay, or wherever it was that we was going. Girl, I got my $10. You ready to roll?
Yeah.
Oh, people don't offer no gas money now.
Nope.
They don't offer no gas money now.
And it's sad because gas is so much more expensive.
It ain't 89 cents. 89 cents. We listen. That's when we would go from one place to the next place to the next. And you'd have been to 5 places in one night. Now it's like, oh, where y'all going? Oh, girl, we just gonna go to Bally's and then we gonna go to Bahama Bay. We ain't going to 6 places that night
because I need this gas to last me all week. Okay, and don't let me have a truck or something. That's $100 to fill that thing up.
Yes, it is. So you have to be mindful. You know your friend circle.
know your friend
Know
circle.
know your friend circle.
Yeah.
You know, so it just, that's when you know it's time to walk away.
Right.
When your circle, because we all got that one good Judy. She don't never had no money,
Right.
but she always in the car.
And she gonna be the one with all the ideas.
Girl, let's go to so-and-so. Did you see the Eventbrite? Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, did you pay for your ticket? Oh, well, you know, I don't get paid till next week. And it's, oh, well, I got you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got you, ain't never come back around.
Yeah.
So.
The ones that crack me up are the ones that show up at the event with no money. Like you know your girls got you that much that you actually went somewhere with no money and you thought that was okay. See, mess around with me, you won't be thirsty.
I ain't never.
You won't be thirsty.
I ain't never. Oh, come on, V, let's go to so-and-so. I tell you up front, I'm broke.
Right.
And then I've had that one comment, girl, you just got paid how you broke. Because all my bills is paid.
And let me tell you, and I know we're getting way off topic here, but the feeling of having all your bills paid
And no money is great.
I freaking love it. I freaking love it. I'd much rather have all my bills paid and got $1 left. I might go get me a pack of bubble gum or something around the corner.
Because best to believe, I got a bottle in the house and I already got 5 more.
Okay?
Where we going?
To my living room.
Let me pregame. Well, you driving? Well, I'm a pregame because I ain't got no money to buy nothing when we get there.
Okay? No.
So, you know.
And then the last portion of this question was, do you think it's normal to lose friends as you get older? And let me just say to our younger friends out there, the person who wrote that question and the younger generations, it is absolutely normal, acceptable, and it should happen. We know that life's journey is about growth. And sometimes you will grow in different directions. That's not a bad thing. If your growth path is leading you into different directions, that is a good thing, and you can support each other from afar. A true friend will do that.
Absolutely.
A true friend will cheer you on from the sidelines.
Absolutely,
Now,
wholeheartedly.
if somebody is making you feel guilty about growing past them or growing in a different direction from them, that person is not in your corner. Another thing that we've said a million times is everybody can't go with you on the elevator. Everybody can't go with you on the elevator.
Absolutely.
But everybody is not mad about that.
No.
Some people are waiting on the bottom floor. That's Beta up there. That's Beta up there on the rooftop and cheering you on.
Because there's some people trying to push you off their rooftop.
Some people is like, I can't believe she got on that raggedy elevator without me. Though, you know, and I'm not going to say that they aren't your friends, but be careful of those people.
Right. Be very, very careful.
Yeah.
Because we all have cheerleaders and we all have critics.
Yes.
And like we said in a couple episodes ago, know your corner. Not know your corner, know your circle. Because the people in your corner are the real rooters.
Right.
The people in your circle, they can come and go. So,
and guess what? Everybody in your corner didn't get on that elevator.
No.
But they didn't let the elevator push them out of your corner.
Absolutely. They rooted from you, for you from the sidelines.
Exactly. Yes.
Completely.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
But with that being said, how do you know when it's time to walk away from a friendship? Like what is a key indicator? Just like one, because this is so very broad. It can be so much. But what is your breaking point? What is that straw that broke the camel's back?
And you know, this actually applies to all types of ships.
Yes.
Friendships, romantic relationships, partnerships, business partnerships, all kinds. This question can apply to all kinds of ships. And I think there's a lot of answers to that question.
Yes.
There's a lot of different ways to look at it. There's a lot of checklists that you have to do. You have to put in a lot of work. So I think there are a couple of things that are straight no-go for me. And one of them, for example, is if a person is making you feel or pushing you to do something that is not in your character, pushing you to be somebody who you are not, manipulating you to be something different than who you want to be.
Absolutely.
That's a straight no-go for me.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah.
No chaser.
Yeah.
Straight. Because that could be a abuse.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's another one. Any form of abuse at all is a straight no-go. Physical abuse, mental abuse. What other kind of abuses are there?
Emotionally, physically, mentally.
Yes.
Any kind.
Any of
and I'm
those
sure there's
abuses.
some more that we just can't name right this second,
Yes.
but you just don't. And the emotional scars is worse than the physical.
That's right.
And the emotional and the mental are far worse than the physical, because the physical scars fade and go away.
Right.
But those internal scars, those internal feelings, they wake you up in the middle of the night when nobody's in that room but just you.
Yeah.
Because you no matter how many people, no matter whether you have a partner or not, yes, that partner is physically in the bed with you, but nobody hears the voices in your head or feels that pain but you. Emotional and mental is a self-feeling. It's a self-emotion. It's a self... So that person don't even realize the depths of the hurt or the pain that was caused until you tell them.
Yeah.
Because guess what? If you tell or you listen to the whispers, you never have to yell.
Yep. That and we can delve right into that saying right there. If you listen to the whispers, you never have to yell. That means pay attention to your friends and your partners when they're telling you something.
Yes.
Pay attention the first time. And even if you don't understand something that they're saying, ask questions.
Absolutely.
If you think, this is what I thought you meant.
Right.
Vita can say to me, oh no, not at all, that's not what I meant. And that will save you a lot of heartache and trouble down the road from you assuming that, oh, this is what she meant. And no, that's not necessarily the case. That's why whispers can clarify a lot of things and you will never have to yell. But I also want to make sure we take a minute to say friendships can be emotionally and mentally abusive too. I'm not going to say that they don't, but I haven't heard many stories of a friendship being physically abusive. But they definitely can be mentally and emotionally abusive. If you have a friend who is making you feel guilty about certain things, if you have a friend that makes you feel that, oh, well, this friendship should be more important than any other friendship because we've been friends for X amount of years, we've been friends for 15, 20 years, that's not the weight of a friendship. Time is not the weight of a friendship. It's what we said earlier. It's the quality of the reciprocation that measures a friendship.
Yes.
So be careful. Friends can make you feel guilty too, and that's also unacceptable. You should cut that off. Anybody who's going to make you feel obligated to them, romantically or friendship, that's not fair and it's not okay.
No, definitely not okay. And you always want to protect your peace, protect your mental. You always want to set boundaries, and you always want to be inclusive with your friends, on all levels. You always want to be. I'm very authentically hands down with my friends. I'm like, if I ever said anything that hurts your feelings, tell me then. Because if you wait 6 months down the line, the way my memory is set up, I'll be like, oh, ahead. And you just now saying something now?
Yeah.
Well, girl, I'm going to tell you, you deserve to be mad. Because you should have said something 6 months ago.
Back then.
Like, why did you wait 6 months to say something?
You've been fuming for
6 months? Really? So you've been walking around me angry for 6 months about something I said 6 months ago that I don't even remember saying it?
Right.
You're right. You deserve... You fester in that. I'm gonna let you live in that one.
Yeah. Vita, before we move on to things we can fix, do you have anything that is an absolute no go? Anything else that's an absolute no go?
In a friendship?
Friendship or romantic relationship?
Yeah, I have to try. Like, trust is huge for me.
Okay.
Like, if I leave you alone in my living room, I need to be able to leave that $500 sitting on that table.
Mm-hmm.
And when I come back, I need to be able to count $501 bills,
Mm-hmm.
or how many ever fives, how many ever tens, whatever it is. I need to be able to not say that money ain't on that table.
Right.
And
Whether it's 50 cents or $500.
It needs to still be sitting there.
Right.
You know, and that's huge for me, because especially when you let people into your home, that is your safe haven.
Mm-hmm.
So if you let somebody into your home, and it could be a $5 bill,
Mm-hmm.
and now you know that $5 bill was sitting there. That $5 bill was sitting there all week, and your friend then came over and took the $5 bill.
Right.
And it could have been something as small as, girl, I just bought us some popcorn with this, but you didn't tell me.
Right.
Now I'm side eyeing you like,
right.
So you used my $5 to buy popcorn. You didn't have $5?
But if you didn't see the $5 on the table, we wouldn't have no popcorn. So I'm confused
Okay,
about why you thought
exactly.
that was community money.
Right. So for me, it's trust, and with that, I give people. Well, do I? Let me think about this. I want to say I give people 100% trust until you do something.
Really?
But then also I want to say I don't trust nobody at all. It's like good angel, bad angel.
Yeah. I think that people have to earn my trust.
Well, yes and no. That's what I mean. Like, in some instance, you give a person, and you might not word it this way, because I believe everybody's trust is earned. You don't just receive trust. But when you have a new relationship, be it a platonic relationship or a romantic relationship, because remember, as kids, we innocent. We don't know nothing about trust.
True.
As children. So I actually, and I'm thinking as if I was a child. If I met you when I was 5, I don't know nothing about trusting you or you stealing from me. So this is why I can say, with some instance, I give you 100% trust until you prove me wrong. And now I know, well, first off, I can't leave no money around this chick. Yeah. Because she ain't trustworthy. Right. So now I don't have no trust with you from money. And my thing is, if you'll steal from me, you'll lie on me, and you'll make me homeless, and you'll cheat, and you'll do anything else. So at that point, now you getting the cow eye. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting here, but I got to watch everything you doing. So you get the cow eye. Mm-hmm. Oh, she moved to. Oh, let me go to bed. Oh, let me go make sure the door locked. Oh, where my pocketbook at? Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Oh no. Oh, she definitely can't come over. My man gonna be here today. Mm-hmm. So you get the cow eye with everything now, and at that point, friendship's over for me. Yeah. Because I can't trust you with anything. Because if you steal something as small as $5, you will steal anything from me. My man, my clothes, my job, my identity, anything. And I know that's taking it a bit far. Mm-hmm. However, that's the magnitude of trust for me. Yeah. Yeah, I think you bring up a good point. I never thought about it that way. Like you said, as kids, we trust. We meet you on the playground, and I trust you just because I know you're going to catch me when I fall off this monkey bar. And I hit the ground like, oh, wait a minute, Johnny, what happened? But yeah, so as children, we learn to lose trust based off of our experiences. And I think as you grow up, depending on what you experience in life, you can be quick to trust or you can be slow to trust. Well, now, my trust ain't naive. Let me say that. Okay. There's a difference between give you the keys to the castle and saying, oh, well, you can come over. Mm-hmm. Because, and I'll give you a little bit of personal. Mm-hmm. I have a code on my door. Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons why I put the code on my door is so every time you come over, I don't gotta come open the door. Mm-hmm. I can let you in on my phone, like, oh, okay, you outside, okay, the door's open. Or I can give you your own code. Mm-hmm. Now, I have a friend who I lost trust in. Mm-hmm. Deactivate. It happens. And then you come and you say, oh, my code didn't work. Heifer. You think after you just did what you did to me, you got free access to come in and out of my space?
Mm-hmm.
Sis, you got me chopped and screwed all the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. That's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
I cut off access, and that's what I do. When the friendship ends, I cut off access. All access to me. You know why? That protects my peace.
Right. Okay.
So that's a good analogy of a code.
Mm-hmm.
I just deactivate the code, and then you no longer have access to me.
That's good. That's good.
But I'll still be your friend on social media.
So that leads me to that everything doesn't mean throw a friendship away, right? That everything doesn't mean everything that happens isn't the end of the relationship. That there are some things that can be worked through. Again, because I know that we're all human, and in all types of relationships, friendships, romantic relationships, if the issue at hand can be worked at, can be talked through, I think which we have to remember is the work needs to be done on both sides. Both parties have to be participating in the healing process.
Yes.
It can't be if it's all on one person, that's not going to work. It has to be participation on both sides.
Yes.
Communication is important. You have to continue to communicate, to work through whatever the issues are. Boundaries are important. You have to put up each person in the situation, in the ship, whatever it is, needs to put up their individual boundaries. And you need to communicate with your partner that these are my boundaries. You don't even have to, you can tell them why, but the fact that they know that's your boundary, you need to tell them that. And they need to respect your boundaries.
Absolutely.
And you need to respect theirs as well.
Absolutely.
When the boundary is disrespected, now we're back up to to that's it. We're done.
So let me ask you this question. You have a friend at work.
Mm-hmm.
And work friendships kind of, for me, work a little differently. But let me ask you. You have a friend at work.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't really talk outside of work.
Okay.
Y'all just work booze.
Mm-hmm.
And with the climate and the temperature today, social media rules the world.
Mm-hmm.
This person requests you as a friend on Facebook or Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Do you allow access?
It depends. So words are very important, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I heard you say this is a work friend, a friend at work, a person who I don't communicate with outside of work.
Yes.
But we like each other at work.
Yeah, you cool. Y'all chitty chitty bang bang.
If this person is on my level, as far as the work situation, if we're co-workers, I have no problem with accepting that person on social media.
Okay.
If they're above me or below me, if they're above me, the answer is no. If they're below me, the answer is maybe. But that's a sticky situation too, because at any given time, the dynamics of the work relationship can change.
Mm-hmm.
The person who's below me today might be my boss tomorrow, and we're already friends on social media.
Right.
So it's not an easy yes or no question for me. It's not. I have to take a lot of things into consideration. And even though I'm not a person who posts a lot on social media, I only want people, how can I say this? I don't want people who I think may one day use any of my posts against me on social media.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So maybe. My answer is maybe.
Well, in my case, I'm very approachable.
Okay.
I'm very work orientated at work.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not part of my personal life, the answer is no to my social media, because we not personal in real life. Why you want to be in my fake life or
Right.
my,
Right.
I don't call it fake, but
Yeah. my social media
my social
life.
media life.
Right.
Because now you just trolling.
Right.
You just trying
see
to
what you can
see what you can find, or I don't know, maybe you're looking for a way to get close to me. Oh, I saw that you went to so and so and whoop whoop whoop, and then it's just like, now you being real weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't talk specifically at work. Why would I individually talk to you on social media? Like, I'm not inviting you to anything unless it's something invitable, and I only talk to you at work. So those friendships are,
they're more like associates.
they're surface.
Yeah.
They're surface level.
Yeah.
There's nothing personal about it.
Right.
We've never been to a dinner together. We've never been outside of work activities, which I don't participate in work activities after hours because I might do something and you might be highly offended by something that I do on my personal time, and next thing you know, it's back at the workplace, and then I got to punch you in your mouth.
Well, now I will say very carefully that this doesn't apply to the job I work for right now. But I have worked places in the past where I was actual friends with my coworkers.
Okay.
Where we were friends outside of work also.
Right.
Of course, in those areas, of course, I would have no problem with being friends on social media because we are friends in real life.
Right.
But I think what you said can also apply to people who know people who you know, if I'm making sense. So, for example, I personally get, and people who are already my friends on social media, I'm not talking about you, so I love you. But I get a lot of friend requests from people who I do not know at all, but they know somebody that I know.
Right.
And sometimes I question why do you want to follow? You don't know me from Adam.
Right. So why do you want to be my friend?
Yeah. I do question. I do wonder if that's trolling.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be, yeah. So, I mean, we have a lot of loyal listeners. Tanya, Deanna, Dej, Janine, Shay, Tierra, and the men. Yeah. I don't want to call nobody out because, I don't want to get in trouble for calling nobody man out, things like that. But I have brothers. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Like, chime in. Tell us how you feel. Leave it in the comments. Tell us how you feel about friendships,
I really want to hear the guys answer the question of when do you think it's time to walk away? Guys, please leave the answer to that in the comments. When do you think it's time to call it quits and walk away? I really like to hear the guys say that. Yeah.
Because and another thing that I constantly say, and I said it the other day, I actually sent it in our little family group chat that we talk about, and I'm going to read it. It says, I used to think I had a lot of friends. Now I realize I just know a lot of people. So you can't call everybody friend.
Yeah.
And we use that word so loosely only because, once again, when you're a child and you meet somebody at the playground and you get a new friend and you come on, mommy, daddy, I got a new friend. But what else can you say? Like, there's no other word for, and for a very long time I was using the word associate. Like, oh no, we're just associates. And then the person was offended. Like, what do you mean I'm just an associate? I thought we were friends. Not so much.
That's another important point too that we can go down this rabbit hole. There are some people who are friends with you, and you're not necessarily friends with them.
Absolutely.
And
so, is there not to cut you off? But is there an in between word between friend and associate? Like, what word? Let's put it out there. What word would we use? What word would you guys use? The person's not yet a friend, but they're not an associate. So what's that word? Because I really want to start using that word. Because if somebody called me an associate, I'm okay with that.
Me too. Especially if you're an associate to me.
But I guess that's the term of, oh, okay, you my friend with no D.
Oh, you're my
friend with no D. So you're my friend, not my friend. Because we don't put melanin people. We don't say words properly about everybody is everybody. So you're my friend, not my friend. But I don't like that term.
Me either.
Oh, I'm gonna give you can be my friend, and then later on I give you the D.
Especially when you say the with no D, that takes me somewhere else.
So what's the medium? What's the average between friend and associate? Let's put a title on. Let's give it life. Let's give it something. Now we can't figure it out. Next week we're gonna come back with that.
And this is proof that we do these unrehearsed.
Yes.
Because I'm drawing a blank. Them folks over there, I don't know. What do we call them? Them. These are my friends. This is them and those associates. Co-workers. The co-workers is but after the associates. So it's friend, them, associates, and then the co-workers. Neighbors.
Because see, I have people higher than friends.
Yes. And we can go down that road too. We can talk about the word sisters.
Well, I have like
Oh,
it's like
above sisters and before and but above friend but below sisters.
yeah, well, it depends.
Okay.
Because everybody can't be a sister.
Everybody cannot, and that word to me is very, very personal.
Yeah, that's big.
I only have one blood sister. I only got one blood sister. And I guess this is why that word is so important to me, because if I call you a sister and your name is not Monique, then you know we like this.
Right.
That word is reserved for a few
Right.
people.
Well, in my case, I have soror.
Well,
And every sister ain't my soror.
Gotcha.
And every soror ain't my sister.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Gotcha.
You just belong to the same organization as I.
Gotcha.
That's how I
Yeah.
differentiate that.
Yeah.
But I have boo things. I have side chicks.
Okay.
I got baby mamas. I got sugar woogers.
You
know,
know a lot of people.
I got some things.
Yes,
You know,
okay.
and not to say that you can't be my sister and my boo thing,
Right.
or you can't be my sister and be my baby mama.
Right.
Cause I got a few baby mamas.
Okay. So break it down for us.
It's not that it's a level to it, because you can still be my sister. Like you're my sister, cousin, friend.
Right.
Or you know that sister friend.
Yeah.
Or you my whoa. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's a word of endearment.
Yes.
So like for your birthday, I'll be like this. Let's give a shout out to my sugar wooger, my side chick, my main chick, my baby mama, my ride and die. Like you can have a whole bunch of different titles and still be a sis.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But you're not a friend.
Right.
You feel me?
I got you.
So you just not a friend.
Yeah.
Cause I don't do friends. Friends ain't sugar mamas.
Okay.
Friends ain't baby mamas.
Okay.
Friends ain't boo things.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Friends ain't the side chicks.
Okay.
Or my woes.
Yeah.
You probably ain't gonna never be. I'm like, okay. You might be like, well, Vita, who that? Did I introduce you? Or the person may feel some kind of way, be like, oh, Vita's so rude. I'm sorry. I'm Samantha.
Yeah.
And you be like, oh, okay, Samantha, I'm Lala. And I'm like this.
Now y'all know each
Now
other.
y'all know each other. Oh, well, we should all hang out. Okay. Now, one thing I'm gonna tell you, I'm territorial about mine. I don't like sharing my sister friends, my woes, my boo things, my baby mamas. I ain't sharing.
Okay.
It's okay. We can all kick it together. And if you say, "Oh yeah, well I talked to Samantha," why?
Yeah.
What y'all talk about?
Yeah.
I want to know. TMI ain't too much information for me. TMI is tell me immediately.
Tell me immediately, okay?
You talk to Samantha, but what y'all talking about?
Okay.
Oh, y'all ain't, no. I'm territorial when it comes to me and mine. So you can talk to Samantha all day if you want to. I better know about it. And my bestie ain't got no other besties but me. I don't care how many other besties she got. Catrice, you ain't got no other besties. It is what it is. That's my baby mama. That's my sugar mama. That's my bestie. I don't care how many besties she got. I will lock her in the trunk and her besties won't be able to find her. Now ask her. She'll tell you. You heard that right, Chip? Okay. Next. Because that was a whole rabbit hole by
That was a
itself.
whole rabbit hole. Oh, I think we was talking about when a relationship ends. Catrice, Chip, whoever, y'all, it's never going to end. Y'all in it for life, and she is.
We locked in.
Right. And look, and if you're being abused in any way, please call me.
Oh, she not. Oh, no. We don't have no kind of friends.
Okay.
We don't have, I don't even think we. Listen, I've been through that in my 20s. I refuse to go through it.
Okay.
I don't got. Domestics, Anybody who know me know I don't do domestics. Oh, y'all fighting? Oh, Vita, what you doing, girl? I'm sitting here watching Power. Oh, girl, he done pushed me down the step. Oh, well, you might want to call 911.
Ooh.
I can't help you.
Wow.
Because I used to be that girlfriend. What?
Yeah, I'm on my way.
I'm on my way.
Yeah.
Now? In this,
911, get there
look,
before I do.
in this big age, girl, I'm the ready to retire in about 5 years. I'm looking, counting up my coins. I can't go to jail.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know, I used to be a fighter in my day, and if you push me the wrong way now, you know, you might catch these hands. But I go to jail, oh, I'm going to have to hold somebody's pocket.
Yeah.
I'm not getting into no altercation. I'm going to have to hold somebody's pocket like, I don't got no fight in me. So we ain't doing that. I'm not, don't call me, please.
Look.
I'm going to look, depending on what time it is, I'm going to go, well, if it's an emergency, they'll call me.
Okay. I'm 50-something years old and still scared of the dark, so I know I can't go. As soon as y'all take fingerprints, let's take me back home. That's all you're going to get from me is fingerprints.
Oh, we don't got no pillows. This not too comfy. And we had a conversation about
yes, the correctional
correctional facility.
Yes,
like
yes.
I know it's not built for comfort.
Right.
However, there's such a bad whatever that word is. We get that you're doing time. And if you're doing hard time for a crime that you committed, can we at least not give them a mattress that's as thin as this?
Right. Where's the humanity?
Where's the humanity?
And that's going to be one of our
topics.
One of these days we're going to come around to that topic. Yeah.
Because let me write that down. Humanity in jail.
Yeah, it's very important, and it's a real thing. So we talked about the things that are no-go. It's time to throw in the white towel and get out of there. We talked about the things that you can kind of work through and try to fix it. So then the last part of this topic is, how do you actually walk away when it's over? When you know it's done, what's the best way to do it? And then just to add a little spice onto that, what happens to the mutual friends? Whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship, what happens to the mutual friends who are left after the fallout of that friendship? And I'll use myself as an example here. I've said on previous shows that I was married before, previously married, and in that marriage we had some mutual, or at least I thought there was mutual friends in that marriage. And when that marriage ended, the concern was who gets to have the friends, who remains friends with who. But when I actually sat down, because I actually did sit down and talk to my friends about that, and when I did, they brought it to my attention that they were really my friends, and they had accepted him, and they're just wonderful people. They accepted him on the strength of me. So that's how that actually worked out. But I was really concerned about that. I was really concerned about what happens to the mutual friends, who still gets to keep the friends, what friends go with what partner. So what do you think about that?
I think it becomes a decision of, and not so much a decision, because just because you ended or y'all ended in a broader perspective, if I'm already your friend and I became friends with your friend or your partner, we fire signs, so we different.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to speak surface here.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I can still be your friend and his friend, for a lack of a better term.
Okay.
Because if we're friends and we're all friends and I was friends with both of y'all, oh, y'all broke up, not me. I ain't nothing to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Brandy, you might feel some kind of way, but I might be like, well, I was friends with both of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I can still be friends with y'all. Y'all not hanging out with me collectively together anymore.
Right.
So when I'm with you, we doing us.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm with him and our friends, we're doing us.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to remember, as both of y'all friends, I have to remain neutral.
Uh-huh.
Because this role right here is a double-edged sword.
Right.
Because I have to be very careful not to carry bones.
Right. So, for example, what happens on game night? Who gets invited to game night?
Game night at my house?
Yeah.
That depends.
Okay.
I mean, y'all, if y'all had Phil's and the McCoys, I have to pick my friend,
Okay.
not the bonus friend.
Got you. Understood.
But if I want to invite the bonus friend, because the way I'm built,
Mm-hmm.
mechanically, emotionally,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say, hey, La, you know I'm having game night. Do you mind if we invite Sanford and Son?
Mm-hmm. Sanford and Son.
You going to say, no, because, you know, the way my emotions are set up, no.
Yeah.
And I want you to be honest with me, friend. And be honest with me, because when you're friends, sister friends, boo things, baby mama, side chick, main chicks with somebody, this is an intimate relationship.
Yeah.
This is an emotional relationship.
Yeah.
I need to be able to handle your feelings with care.
Yeah.
To say, let me ask her.
Yeah.
I'm inviting Sanford and Son. How do you feel?
Right.
If you can say, girl, I don't care. I still got to check the temperature once y'all in this room, because they ain't no Hatfield and the McCoys in my house.
Right.
However, I won't never know unless I ask you.
Exactly. Right.
So
again,
if you listen to the whispers, you never have to yell.
Exactly.
Because if I just be like, well, it's my house, I don't care.
Right. So communication.
But that's even, I want to tell a real quick story. Really, it's got something to do with something, but nothing to do with nothing.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So I used to have these sister please parties at my house. So anybody who know about that, hey girlfriend. So I used to have these sister please parties at my house, and they went from 5 to 20 to like 50 people one time, and it was chicken and food and games and giveaways and all kind of stuff. So we going around the table, and I think, you know what? I think I'm gonna do a sister please party real soon.
I was about to say that sounds like fun.
So we at the thing, we at the sister please, and we got little male straw things that we're drinking out of, and all kind of female fun stuff going on, just boom, boom, boom. So this one lady, her question came up and said, well, I'm sleeping with a married man.
Uh-huh.
So we like, girl, girl talk.
Yeah.
So the other lady goes around a couple of hours later, she goes, well, yeah, I think my husband's cheating on me. And we just, and they're going back and forth. And you know me, child.
You start putting 2 and 4 together?
Girl.
And came up with 18.
Girl. So I said, because she was kind of sitting next to me, the side chick.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, well, and I want to say I knew his name, so we just going to call him Bill.
Okay.
So I said, well, you said Bill is married. I mean, I knew Bill, but I don't know Bill.
Right.
I said, well, you said Bill married, right? And boop, 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 boop. She like, yeah, girl, blah, 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 blah. And 1 + 1 is 2, and 2 + 2 is 4, and 4 + 4 is 8, and 8 + 2 is 10. I said, oh, okay, girlfriend, well, let me go get me a glass of something, because I see Tiffany go get. I said, oh, okay. I said, hey, Tiffany, hey, girl. Who invited you? How you like it? Whoa. She says, yeah. I said, well, you said your husband cheated on you. Well, how you know? Oh, because he changed up. And I said, well, did I meet your husband before? She said, yeah, baby, you met my husband plenty of times. And I was like, why can't I remember your husband's name? Girl, you know Billy. Girl, ding, 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 10. I said, oh, okay. So we sit back down, and they just kikiing. And I said, can we be real for 5 minutes in here, ladies? I said, now, Tiffany, your husband's name is Bill E., right? And Samantha, you the side chick for Bill, right? Let me see a picture of Bill. Okay, let me see a picture of Billy. Yeah, y'all got a problem. I said, now, you can do 1 of 2 things.
Not in my living room.
Not in my living room. 2, you can go outside. 3, my neighbor's gonna call the cops, so you better not be too loud.
Okay.
I said, what are the odds?
Right.
So like I said, baby, you just so messy. You let this. I said, no. This is why women need to speak.
Yeah.
This is why we need to talk. This is why we have our own language. This is why we have our own thing.
Yeah.
Because you never know
Yep.
who the who's is who'sing.
That's right.
Because that's why you know me, like, I be like, you know him?
And you know me too. I show everybody. Do any of y'all know him?
If you seen him before,
Right. Let me know.
let me know, please. But anyway, that was just my little
Yeah.
aha moment. But that's why it's important to have.
That wasn't no sister, please. That was a honey child party.
But I
Yeah.
had them often,
Yeah.
and that was the first time that ever happened. And I wasn't saying I was being messy, because I don't feel it was messy, but I felt that, and they handled it with so much grace.
That's good. That
That was the one good thing.
That's really good.
They both said, Vita, if it wasn't for you, and we had met on a different circumstance, a different stage, or a different platform, but they said, because it's you, this is your house.
So they did not, and this neither here nor there, just being newsy. They did not know each
No.
other was the other person
No.
at all. Okay, so both of the women were
Clueless. Like,
Gotcha.
she knew that she was messing with a married man.
Okay, but she didn't know who he was married to.
She didn't know the wife or anything.
Okay.
And I just happened to be sitting there, and the stories just kept, like, we was going around and we was picking topics out of the thing, and it was relationship or marriage or sexual or whatever it was, and something just said, pay attention.
Yeah.
And I'm listening. And then, you know, we got 20 people with 30 people in the room. So finally when it got around to her, and she would say her thing, I was like this. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And then it was like some similarities. And, oh, yeah, when my man do whoop, the whoop, the whoop, I like this. And when it got to her, she liked the same thing. And I was like, what are the odds of two men is doing the exact same thing the exact same way? And, you know, you get it every night, but you get it every 2-3 nights. And you married to the married man. I don't know what it was, but I was like, Vita, this is messy. Don't you say nothing. And then I said, no, because I am my sister's keeper. No matter how you slice it. I don't want to say she wasn't at fault, because when a married man don't want you to know he's married, you never going to know he's married.
Right, but she did know that he was married.
She said she didn't know in the beginning.
She didn't know in the beginning. Okay. Okay.
That's the...
Yeah.
I'm not excusing it, but
Yeah.
that's the caveat.
Right.
Because...
because I've heard lots of women say that they met a man under the assumption that he was single, and then she found out later that he was married. And a lot of women say, you should have just told me and let me make my own decision.
Absolutely. Don't make a decision for me. Because
Right.
I've met some men.
Yeah.
And there was no ring, wasn't no shadow,
Right.
wasn't no tan,
Yeah.
wasn't no nothing. And then when I find out, I said, how you gonna make a choice for me?
Exactly.
Let me decide. I said, that's not something that I do. Now, don't get me wrong, there are women out there
Right.
that will date married men because they don't want that
Exactly.
365 companion, whatever their reasoning is for dating them.
Right.
I hug and I don't judge, but whatever their reason is, that's
Yeah.
their preference.
reason.
It's
Right.
not mine.
Right.
Don't make a choice for me. Allow me to make the choice.
Right.
And when I find out, access denied.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, B, I thought we was friends.
Right.
They go that F word.
Right. But you lied to me.
But
at the door.
they come
So
on.
what kind of friend
Come
is that?
on.
Yeah.
So when you start out untruthfully,
Yeah.
what do you think gonna happen?
Yeah.
There is no trust.
Nope.
I can't even trust you because you lied to me from the beginning. And you
Right.
lied about something that you never know. If you would have told me the truth, I might have been with the
Who
poops and the
knows?
giggles.
Right. Right. I might have just handled you a little differently. Who knows? But you didn't. The thing is, you wasn't honest with me from the
Exactly.
beginning.
Exactly.
Okay. So then that only leaves us with, how do you walk away? How do you end it?
Gracefully.
I say gracefully. I definitely say gracefully. I say as soon as possible. There's no need to drag anything on more than you have to. There are things sometimes people got to take into consideration, like finances and depending on if you live together and all of that. But if we're talking about just friendships, I say just a nice clean break. And one of my mottos as a fire sign is there's no need to make announcements. There's no need to make announcements. 9 times out of 10, in both friendships and romantic relationships, people know that they've done something wrong. They already know, and they don't need to be told again. And you can just gracefully bow out and move on.
Yes, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna block you.
No,
I'm not gonna block you from social media or my phone. I'm just gonna say, you know what? I really think that we're growing in different directions, and we want different things.
Yes.
However, if our friendship has now resorted to us not hanging out anymore, and it's now a this kind of relationship, once I stop communicating, that's a clear indication.
Is it done?
It's enough. It's a done deal for me.
Yeah.
So, that goes back to pouring in and pouring in. If I'm consistently pouring into you every day, and you say nothing to me other than, "Oh, thank you," you don't have nothing to say to me. You don't say good morning to me first. You don't do any of that. I'm good on you. And I'll give you another example. I went through a struggle last year. I took a mental break from everything. Everything. Some people, I stopped texting. That inspiration that I send out every day. I'm going to say 2 weeks ago, I got a text message from somebody that says, "Oh my God, Vita, I haven't been getting inspirations. Is everything okay?" You ain't got this for 7-8 months. And all you could say is, "You took me, is everything okay?" Because I haven't been getting your inspirations. But when I send them to you in the morning, first off, you're on your way to work, you're driving, you're doing something, because I used to send them out at 6 o'clock in the morning, but now it's like maybe 8 or 9 o'clock. I would always get this message, automatic. So-and-so is driving, call again, or whatever that automatic message is when you text somebody and they're driving.
Right.
I went back and I looked at my text messages prior to the 7 months that you didn't get them. I went and looked at them for the entire time that you were getting them. Not one time did you say thank you.
Wow.
Not one time did you acknowledge the text. So that further lets me know this is not appreciated.
Right.
So with that being said, I just need to say this one thing. If I have been sending you a morning text message and you have never replied to me, consider yourself off the list. I'm protecting my peace, and I'm just setting a boundary, and I'm openly telling you I'm setting a boundary. So that's the way I handle friendships. That's the way I handle ships in general, whatever it is. You don't want to be my friend? No D. I'm okay with that.
Right.
It is what it is, because you can't force anything.
Right.
And that's just that. I mean,
yes.
What you gonna do?
Right. Peace. So this has been really, really great. There are plenty of books out there on Amazon and other vendors if you want books about communication and boundaries. Here's one that Vita put me on to. It's a really good one. Set Boundaries and Find Peace, A Guide to Reclaiming Yourself, by Nidra Glover. Tawab.
Correct us, please.
Yes.
Correct us if we're wrong, because we are going to tag you in this.
Yes.
But this book is really good. It got me through.
Yes.
Let me say that. It really got me through. So if you want a good read, she also has a workbook.
Yes.
I have the workbook, but I forgot it. So next week I'll make sure when we record, put the workbook up so you can see. But you have to work on yourself internally.
Yes.
And when you start doing the work on yourself internally with boundaries and peace, it will be easy. It will be graceful. It will be forgiving. It will be apologetic for you to just cut some things off, cut people off, whatever that is, and you still feel okay.
Yes. So thank you for joining us.
So with that being said, always remember, your vibe attracts your tribe.
Kudos.